Roger Stone, welcome to Good Day Late. Good to have you here.
Great to be here.
All right, so the big question. Did you ask a colleague to ask Julian Assange for dirt on Hillary Clinton?
Absolutely, and that request in September demonstrates that my testimony before the House Intelligence Committee was entirely accurate and truthful. I have maintained from the beginning that I had no direct contact with Wikileaks or Assange, that I had an intermediary, a so-called back channel. Such an inquiry specifically about the murder of Gaddafi, because I had a credible tip that Gaddafi had agreed to abdicate and leave the country in an agreement with our State Department and had been murdered anyway, is a perfectly legitimate inquiry. The other question raised by the Wall Street Journal is why the email that I supplied to them had not been turned over to the House Intelligence Committee, and quite simply, it fell outside the very precisely worded scope of their document request, which I completely fulfilled. So this is a fake news story. In fact, their news story exonerates me and proves that the timeline that I outlined under oath for the House Intelligence Committee was entirely accurate.
But Congressman Adam Schiff seems to disagree with you in terms of the scope of what they were asking for. He's on the House Intelligence Committee, the top Democrat on that committee. He said this to the Journal, quote, "If there is such a document, then it would mean that his testimony was either deliberately incomplete or deliberately false." What do you say to that?
If Congressman Schiff could take 5 minutes off camera and read the actual request of the committee, he would determine quickly that he is incorrect.
There was another comment from Clint Watts, who is a former FBI agent. He tweeted out, "Roger Stone asked for stolen emails. Again, failed collusion, attempted collusion, successful collusion. It's all collusion." So was this collusion with Russia?
First of all, I don't know this gentleman, but there is no evidence that the DNC was hacked by the Russians or anyone else. That is supposition, conjecture. It's a unproven claim. But there's nothing illegal about reaching out to a journalist to try to determine whether a tip you have received is correct. This is a fake news story. Let me address, if I may, the question that has been reported this morning, and that is that the special counsel, having found no evidence whatsoever of Russian collusion on my part, no evidence of trafficking in allegedly hacked emails with WikiLeaks, no evidence that I had advance notice of the publication of John Podesta's email, is now examining every nook and cranny of my personal life, asking people I have worked with, and as many as 8 of my current or former colleagues, about my personal life, my political activities, my business life. This merely proves what I have said consistently. This has nothing to do with Russian collusion. It is a witch hunt, in this case designed to conjure up some extraneous offense in an effort to silence me and to punish me for my support for Donald Trump.
But you say that there's no evidence of Russia hacking the DNC, but almost every U.S. intelligence agency says that there is, and every top intelligence expert that the president has appointed say that there is.
That's laughable. That is their assessment. In fact, the Democratic National Committee servers have never been examined by the FBI. But in the lawsuit in which the DNC is suing me, we will get discovery of those servers, and I will prove once and for all, as consistent with a report in The Nation magazine, the forensic evidence points more specifically to a download to some portable drive rather than a hacking. The question of whether the Russians or anyone hacked the DNC is unproven at best. Our intelligence agencies have been politicized. We've caught them lying about the fabrication of a fake dossier to impugn the president, but also
the people running the intelligence
the surveillance.
These are not. But these are Republicans that you're talking about. You're talking about the president's choice to run the FBI, the president's choice to run the CIA. You're talking about the Senate Intelligence Committee. I mean, these are all Republicans.
And they, at best, their claims are still unproven. Look, they have lied about the fabrication of a fake dossier that was used as the underlying rationale for surveillance and the use of the state's capability and authority to surveil and spy on the Trump campaign. It is now clear the FBI did infiltrate the president's campaign with a spy. They'd rather call it an informant. No, I believe our intelligence agencies have been entirely politicized, and I will mount a vigorous defense at any claim that I have violated the law now that it is clear that I did not collude with the Russians, Wikileaks, or anyone else.
Okay, and let's ask you one question about your book, Stone's Rules.
Sure.
The documentary about
Yes.
you was fantastic on Netflix. Even if you disagree with you, it's an amazing thing. You talk about the different rules that you have for politics. So here's how I want to ask this question. What rule do you think Donald Trump is following the best, and which rule do you think that he would follow more?
Well, this book, Stone's Rules, is kind of like an operating manual. It's not so much a political book as it is the maxims and guidelines of things I've learned in 40 years in the arena. I would recommend this rule to the president: attack, attack, attack. I, of course, borrowed that from Winston Churchill.
And he seems to follow that quite often. Roger Stone. You also talk about your fashion, so congratulations on that. We all could use fashion tips from you.
Well, the point of this book, of course, is that it is about style, fashion, advertising, public relations, politics, and just being in the arena. It's applicable for people in business, media, agriculture, any avocation. Anyone, political or non-political, wants to succeed in life can benefit from my new book, Stone's Rules.
And it is #1 on Amazon's list of new releases on politics and censorship. Congratulations on that. Roger Stone, thank you for taking a few minutes to share your views. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.